In the first 8 weeks, Trump's popularity has dramatically reduced, as has Elon Musk's even more dramatically. People want quick results. They're not getting them. They're seeing the stock market tanking. They're seeing, prices for most products still very high.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk's polling has gotten so objectively atrocious that even Piers Morgan is not only acknowledging it on his show, he's using it to fact-check his MAGA guests. Brace yourselves. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got one clip to look at here. It's relatively long. We'll unpack it together along the way. For context, Piers Morgan, in his latest U.S. politics panel, is interviewing former Trump Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh, and then the other one to note is MAGA guest Natalie Winters, okay? Now, the context for this is Piers is discussing Elon Musk's current political plight and the financial stress he's currently experiencing, as to the extent that the world's richest man can possibly even experience such things. Tesla stock is plummeting. He's receiving a lot of pushback and criticism. First, the topic is that, and I want you to hear what Joe Walsh has to say, and then we'll get into Piers Morgan acknowledging some bad news for Elon and Trump and using it to fact-check Natalie Winters.
And then we could be a free country
Well,
again.
he does. Elon Musk has said, I'll come back to you, Joe. Elon Musk has said that I think he said within 20 years, there could be 20 million humans up on Mars. I think that's probably a bit of a stretch, but certainly it's an indication of just how big picture he thinks. But has he overstretched himself here? We can all condemn any acts of violence, of damage, the arson and so on is all despicable. But he has been very deliberately and very provocatively poking his way into UK politics, demanding that the Prime Minister be put in prison. He directly involved himself in the German election, aligning himself with what many believe there to be the far right, etc., etc. And he, of course, he remains an unelected official who seems to have open access to the White House. A lot of people don't like this. Trump is a lot more popular than Elon Musk is right now.
Well, Piers, look, and again, I say this as someone who's in the public eye. Elon's got to grow up. He made this decision, as Anthony said, to get into politics. That's not all, though, Piers. He chose a side, and he's free to do that. And he chose to join Trump and MAGA, and he chose to attack the left, and he chose to get involved, as you said, in European elections. He's free to make those decisions, but because he chose to be partisan, absolutely, then he's going to take the protests, the boycotts. He's going to take the hate because he's jumped into the arena and he's chosen a side, and now he's got to live with that. Having said that, Piers, political violence is always wrong.
So let's stop right there. Again, we'll get to the Natalie Winters part, but I think this is a perfectly reasonable take. Obviously, violence is unacceptable. Those who commit violence against Tesla or against Elon Musk, should it ever happen, they should be punished accordingly. But the backlash, the sentiment backlash, the fact that people are selling off their Teslas, selling off, or boycotting Teslas, organizing that. That's part of the marketplace of free ideas. That's part of the free market, and that's part of the potential political backlash for a secular, apolitical businessman of the past to now get involved in partisan politics, especially the way that Musk has. He hasn't simply endorsed a particular political candidate. He simply hasn't donated to a particular political candidate. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have effectively formed an unholy alliance. Musk is the shadow president, if not co-president. And Musk has been notoriously, viciously, exuberantly partisan in a way that few business people really are. So no, I don't think he has much by which to complain or much basis by which to complain about his current predicament, with the exception, again, of any violence that should be condemned. So, again, I say Donald Trump and Elon Musk's polling is so bad that now Piers Morgan will use it to fact-check a MAGA supporter who doesn't want to believe it.
Yeah,
unacceptable.
Right. So, Natalie, it seems to me, look, there's no doubt that I kind of get the big picture here that Trump and Musk are trying to do. I do. And it may well turn out to work. But there's no doubt in the short term, in the first 8 weeks, Trump's popularity has dramatically reduced, as has Elon Musk's even more dramatically. People want quick results. They're not getting them. They're seeing the stock market tanking. They're seeing, prices for most products still very high, et cetera, et cetera. How careful do they have to be here? Because they got a big win, Trump and the Republicans at the election. How careful have they got to be right now?
Well, I don't necessarily know if President Trump and Elon Musk are hemorrhaging support. I think there's been some recent poll numbers coming out showing that it's really the Democratic Party who's having a real identity crisis.
Well, they're far worse. I agree. They're far worse. But there's no doubt all the polling I've seen shows Trump's polling and Musk's in particular are significantly lower than from election day.
Well, so I think the American people
Democrats,
support
except the Democrats are completely in the I mean, the Democrats are shot to pieces. I think we can all agree with that. Worst polling in recorded history, and thoroughly deserved for the shambolic way they behaved in the last year. But let's focus just on Trump and Musk. They're all in on what they're doing, but at the moment, the public, I would describe it as they're wary. They're like, we're nervous about this.
Well, I think the way that the media has depicted what they're doing is contributing to that. I think overwhelmingly the American people support the idea of cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. Be my guest if you want to find me a Democrat or an American citizen who wants to send millions and at the end of the day, billions of taxpayer dollars, not just to fund the weird transgender musicals in foreign countries, but, really weird, perverse bioweapon research in countries like China. I don't think that that's something that the American people support. I do think there is overwhelmingly a lot of support for the Doge efforts. I think there's sort of this maniacal focus on these protests against Elon Musk. I don't necessarily share your victim blaming idea that just because someone wades into the political space that therefore their companies should be attacked, there should be brutal demonstrations, cars set on.
But that's not what he said. He said that the violence is wrong, so you're either stupid or you're deliberately misrepresenting his views. One of the two. It's entirely possible with a MAGA Republican like this, a MAGA influencer. But again, I love this. It Piers is actually saying, no, listen, Musk is unpopular. Trump is unpopular, whether you like it or not. Facts don't care about your feelings, gang. And her answer to this is wildly unsatisfying, which is, well, people support cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. That's true, including liberals and progressives. But we disagree with you very often on what constitutes waste, fraud, and abuse. And we also believe that there should be a process which is surgical, accountable, and transparent. And you all seem to oppose that. Doge, in reality, is just wildly unpopular. It's simply a matter of fact. It's not a matter of opinion. Elon Musk and Doge, or it should be Elon Musk and Donald Trump, are also unpopular. Musk much more than Trump. It's just true. And I mean, listen, and Piers is right, by the way, not to dodge this, but the Democratic Party, its brand and popularity are in the toilet too. And quite frankly, here's a hot take. It should be. It should be not because Democrats don't have better ideas, not because Democrats can't win elections, they can, but because the Democratic Party is not mounting a meaningful resistance to Donald Trump, as demonstrated by the recent, government shutdown fiasco created by Chuck Schumer. So I just want to be clear. I'm not suggesting by any stretch that the Democratic Party is particularly popular. They are not. Everyone's pissed off at the Democrats. Democrats are pissed off at Democrats. Republicans are pissed off at Democrats. And Republicans love Republicans. So right now, Republicans aren't nearly as unpopular as the Democrats. But Trump, his approval rating is underwater, and it has been for many days, if not weeks. It's the shortest presidential honeymoon we've ever seen. Elon Musk is hemorrhaging support even among Republicans who don't like the level of access he has to Trump. It looks like oligarchy. It looks like there are no controls, no meaningful leash, no meaningful resistance against him, and people don't like that. And so again, it's so bad that even Piers Morgan, of all people, Piers freaking Morgan,